what you will see in future is that all of these solutions that I seen that are currently ongoing, we will bring them into the market and allow for faster delivery, instant delivery, and also consistent delivery.
Welcome to the Economy and Politics Conversation. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. This edition is quite interesting because on the ground of the 20th floor of the Nigeria Exchange Group, we witnessed the formal briefing on the launch of the T+2 Settlement Cycle. So our conversation will be on the T+2 Settlement Cycle as a catalyst for an advanced Nigerian capital market. For our viewers, you want to understand what the T+2 Settlement Cycle is. It's about time to market activities. And with me to have this conversation is Mr. Haruna Jalo-Waziri, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Securities Clearing Systems PLC. Great to have you on the conversation.
Thank you. Always good to be on this show.
Yeah, several months ago we discussed around this at the AMEDA conference. Yeah, but for the sake of our viewers, let's just first understand this T+3 transition to T+2. How significant is this for the market at this time?
What this does is that it shortens the transaction cycle. So now you have transaction day plus 1 plus 2, you get both your cash and your shares. Ideally, what that does is that, when you have access to your cash earlier than normal, you can always deploy that cash to do something else. And we've had situations where people are in a hurry. They sell their shares, borrow money to fulfill their obligations, and then wait till the third day to now return the borrowing, or rather refund the money. So by doing that, what it means is that we're providing earlier liquidity than it used to be. And so by extension, you can do more things thereafter. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. But to answer your question directly, there is a company called Value Exchange that has been tracking globally the settlement cycles and the impact in terms of liquidity. Like I mentioned downstairs, what you find is when markets move from T+3 to T+2 or T+1, particularly if I remember the numbers for T+1, is that you see liquidity drop the first 3 months or less, but then subsequently it goes up by anything between 8 and 17 or 16%. I remember the exact data, or even more in many cases. So it's not going to be different from our own. We have arguably 25,000 trades a day. And what you'll likely see is that there are likely to be more trades because people have now earlier cash to begin to go back or reinvest into the market. And in the context of that, it means that by extension, there will be some liquidity that will increase in the context of the market. Yes.
So this obviously dovetails into investor confidence, because if I can get access to my funds quickly, it will boost investor confidence. I can even give word of mouth to others, say, hey, the market is really dynamic. But let's look at the global alignment, because that's very important. How does this position the Nigerian capital market as an advanced market that is aligning with the trends in the global market?
So investors or global investors, typically fund managers, don't like to have two books or two processes. They like to come to a market and know how to change their processes at the back end. So when you align with global practice, you make fund managers' life easier by them not changing their processes at the back end because they want to participate in your market. So you see less resistance from those foreign investors to come into your market by extension. So having a standard across helps even on your own reconciliation. It helps in the way you do valuations. It helps or takes away the headaches that typically you have when you cross-border money, because now you have become standard, and essentially those fund managers begin to pay attention to you. Again, it goes back to liquidity. Yeah.
And that makes us a major market or leader in Africa, because not many have that T+2 settlement in sight. But we'll still come to the other big one that you're looking at. But let's look at technology. The infrastructure is very important, and that keys into even how you mitigate risk. So tell us about the technology, the upgrade, the software, and how secured it is to ensure that we can handle volumes of transactions, talk of millions of them, and achieve the T+2 settlement?
So in 2017, when we decided to go with TCS Banks, which is a provider owned by Tata, it's one of the biggest technology companies quietly out of India, even though they are globally everywhere now. The idea was that, the Indian market was not different from ours in the way that they also have power cuts, they have population, they have innovation in terms of how they do things because of a certain infrastructure deficit, whether it is telecom and all of that. So when they build solutions, they build with those things in mind. Unlike the first world, when they build solutions, they build it because they understand that there'll be telecom, there'll be power, there's failover. So they build, and then of course the temperatures in which they build these things. Can it withstand 40 degrees when there's no power and the thing is still running? Will the air conditioning be enough, and all of those things? So we went to Tata in 2017. And in doing that, Tata was also growing with us globally, as they also begin to find solutions. So we had always known that we were going to shorten the cycle. And, with them, we had already planned that, look, if we go to T+2, this is what we'll do, T+3. So they were already ready for us before we moved in. What we needed to do was upgrade the system into that level of it being able to do things faster, and have bigger storage, be more intelligent, because now we're doing a few things, and also service us in the context that we're doing. Again, I mentioned that we have very many middlewares because they're all plugged into Tata, and we have to go and revise all those codes to see that with the upgrade, nothing will disrupt the services they'll provide. But also the servers that we have, the IBM, I think we were on Power 8, and then we moved to, I think, Power 10. So we hadn't upgraded our servers for a long time, which means that the Power 10 comes with certain safeguards and tools that you can use to be able to write rules to protect your system and also do things better. And of course, the Sophos, which is our firewall, had to be upgraded to the latest one, and also both the devices and the solution itself to be able to allow us to make things more secure within the context of what we do. So those are 2 or 3 things essentially that you can see from outside that we've done. But of course, all the middlewares that give us services, we have to also upgrade them, improve them so that they can work within the context of the hardware or software that we have done. That in essence is what we've done. But we've always known we were going to do it, and then we've always invested in technology over the years, but increasingly on a gradual basis, which is why we don't have a significant technology cost when we're even moving to that. And I had mentioned earlier at the press conference that people didn't even know we had done those upgrades until we mentioned it, to tell you how smoothly we've been working to transit into this situation. So yes, albeit difficult over the years, but because we planned for it, we've done it over time, people don't even notice anything has happened.
Yeah, technology is very important, and how that plays out is very key to the settlement. Well, let's talk about something that is of interest to me. How will this excite and attract new class of retail investors? Particularly, you've been talking about your son, even the Gen Zs and millennials, and new class of investors to the market. Is this a pivot?
So this is the first step. The intention initially was to go straight to T+1. But I think we had the market, the reasoning, and understand that sometimes people work as quickly or as fast as we wanted to, and because we have to carry everybody along, so we stayed at T+2 first. T+1 is coming of May next year, which means we have about 6-7 months.
No, that's remarkable.
to be able to move and test the data, allow them to also upgrade certain tools for them to be able to achieve that T+1. So it's a journey, and you don't attract these clients overnight. So it takes a bit of time, and it's not just the settlement cycle that attracts them; it's also products. So the market has to build products on the back of what we've done from an accelerated settlement perspective, so that it will be attractive to this young generation, and ultimately the T+0 is where they want to be. But T+1, ideally, we will start seeing them coming at a higher number than they used to be. But I think it's also dependent on product. They don't like plain vanilla products like equity. There has to be something that comes on top of it, tokenization, create digital assets within the background of solutions, and also, ride on the existing, if you like, services and build simpler, smaller, more identifiable products so that they can jump on it very quickly. Yes.
You just talked about T+1. So 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. So what's the outlook with T+2 in terms of enhancing our markets across equities to others, settlement, post-trades? These are good signs of seamless operations, increased liquidity and access to funds. And of course, there will be the area of regulations, quick dispute resolution. What's the outlook with this T+2 enhancing our markets and unlocking more opportunities?
So I think technology is going to play a very big role in terms of, so the first thing you want to do is eliminate errors and quicken the process so that you are able to deliver what you say at the time you say it. The solution to that is technology, whether it's business intelligence or artificial intelligence, or call it agents or what have you, or bots. Whatever it is that you're going to do, it has to be technology driven because we've come to a world where, even what you read is on your phone, which is your tablet. For example, if I'm watching your TV, I don't turn on a TV, you're a web TV. So I go to the app and I go and, catch up on the news. But then if I don't even know your system, if I'm used to reading some of the things or rather used to watching your program, depending on what, there are the solutions, the browsers can easily begin to even rig what you, or the social media things that we normally would, be part of. They have algorithms that say, okay, if you watch something like web TV, you see things like web TV to come. So my point is that, what you see in future is that all of these solutions that I seen that are currently ongoing, we will bring them into the market and allow for faster delivery, instant delivery, and also consistent delivery. So in my mind, what we're going to see in future is technology determining what we see, how we see it, and at the back end, it has to be delivered because we're now used to instant information, instant gratification, and so we have to move towards that. And in fact, you have instant payment. So what's the reason why you're not moving to that context? So I will see that revolution happening very quickly, even in our markets, especially within the retail space.
It's quite interesting that this also has an ecosystem value chain. We've seen the Commodities Futures Exchange, Lagos, we've seen the NASD and other markets. So this is going to be very critical. We'll keep tracking this, but this is a wonderful, significant development in the market. And we just hope that it will help to advance our market, make it inclusive and better for Nigerians and global investors to invest. Thank you for the time, Mr. Haruna Jalo-Waziri, Managing Director, Chief Executive of the Central Securities Clearing Systems PLC, for this interesting conversation.
Pleasure.
Thank you. To our viewers, I believe you've learned a lot around the T+3 transition to T+2 settlement cycle in the market. It all just means that it's a shorter time to settle trade, and of course, you can have quick access to your funds, and liquidity will improve as an investor, whether you're local or foreign. But we'll continue to track this development. That has been an interesting conversation on the T+2 settlement cycle as a catalyst for an advanced Nigerian capital market. If you want to get more insights on this, visit our website displayed on the screen and follow our social media platforms to get further information. Till we come your way again, thank you for being a part of this conversation. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. Bye for now.